we're going to move to the public forum part of the meeting, and statement I need to read. The board encourages comments about the district from members of the public. Anyone who has signed up to speak in advance of the meeting in accordance with the board procedures may do so at this time. The board asks that each participant comments pertaining to the district business be no longer than 3 minutes. For any member of the public who is accompanied by a translator, your time will be doubled as required by law. Anybody need a translator? Remember that the board may not discuss or act upon any issue that are not posted on our agenda. In addition, the board has adopted policies to provide prompt and equitable resolution of complaints and concerns for the employees, students, or their parents, and the general public. Copies of our district policies and procedures on public comment and filing complaints are available at the NDISD website. First person, Richard Shaw.
Thank y'all all for being here. I know you can't answer my questions now, but I noticed on the agenda that there was a thing for the changing of the name, possible action on changing the name of the football field. So I'd like these questions to maybe be considered during that time. I believe it was in August of 2014. Maybe you can help refresh my memory on how some of this went down. The name of the football field, was it done by committee? Or was it, and if so, who was on that committee? Or was it done by school board? And so that's question one. Was it done by committee or school board? 2, were there other names considered for the naming of it? And 3, what was the determining factors on why the field was named what it was? Thank you.
Given the continued questions surrounding the hiring practices, evaluations, and approvals by the school board, I am formally requesting a presentation by Brad Proctor, President of the Video School Board, regarding the consideration and practice for the superintendent and assistant administrator roles. It is imperative, as the board is responsible for the hiring and evaluation of these roles, that the board present the research and documentation used to determine the necessity for the assistant administrator role, as well as the fair market evaluation of the compensation packages for both the assistant administrator and the superintendent roles. Additionally, continued justification for renewal and contract changes with demonstration of a complete, formal, and equitable evaluation process should be provided to the community. With the hiring and consideration practice information, we would like justification and demonstration of the need for the role of the assistant administrator. We would like information regarding the compensation packages, how the salary and all associated benefits, bonuses, and extra pay are determined and evaluated for each of the roles, evidence of benchmarking data used to determine fair market valuations, and provide all documentation for public review. We would also like evaluation expectations, metrics, and the rubric utilized to evaluate the performance of the superintendent and the assistant administrator. How are those expectations communicated to each employee? How are fulfillment of those duties documented and evaluated? What is the formal evaluation process, step by step, for each role? Provide all documentation for public review. Please place this item on the agenda for the July 2022 school board meeting. I want to hope that your presentation will demonstrate that these actions are conducted with an acceptable level of professional management and properly documented, as is required of state agencies. I look forward to your presentation. I will have copies of this request for you.
my name is Sandy Willis. When I spoke at the last meeting on May the 17th, I asked Sandra Goins to resign her position on the board. I stand by my request. However, the other school board members are also culpable. This chart displays every board member's financial responsibility during the years in question for the contract they approved. For Superintendent Jimmy Nolan, Mr. McRae, and Mr. Reed. Please notice that based on this data, others are just as responsible for mishandling our tax money. These numbers are conservative and represent the minimum value of approved contracts. Sandra Goins approved over $2.5 million over the last 12 years. When compared to comparable districts for one position, a superintendent over the same 12-year period, Sandra approved an extra $997,000, almost $1 million extra dollars that should have been allocated elsewhere. Eddie Ramirez approved over $2 million. Mark Durham approved $1.7 million. Kevin Gidget approved $1.7 million. Brad Proctor approved $1 million, and Jacob Malone $360,000. I feel that it's time for a new school board with new members willing to put our students first. Thank you.
Not made any secret. I'm not happy with any of the board. Each and every one of you are responsible for what's happened over the last several years. I don't understand why you're digging your heels in and you're doubling down. This ain't a paid position. You have no reason to stay. It's a black eye on the community. You're a part of it. You're a part of that black eye. You're taking from me, my hard-earned money. You're taking from my kids. You're taking from all of them. Enough is enough. Put your pride behind you. Admit you made a mistake and resign. It's the only way you're getting out of this with any kind of dignity whatsoever. The more you double down and the more you dig your heels in, the worse it's going to be for each and every one of you. And anybody who's been responsible for it, I will make my personal vendetta to make sure it's known. And I'm sure some of these people will too. We're tired of lies. Stop. Do yourself a favor, do us all a favor, and resign.
Pretty hard to follow right there. I mean, good job. You're excellent. Thanks for bringing that up. There's a lot of discontent about that football stadium being named Jimmy Nolan Stadium. It's discontent. I've got some suggestions I think that the name should be changed to. Something like Pride Stadium. That'd be a better name than that. Something like the Lions Den. Something like Main Field, Main being spelled M-A-N-E. There's a lot of things that it could be that discuss and talk about this school versus Nolan Stadium. So I think that some things should be taken into consideration about renaming it. But my biggest suggestion to this board, and of course these folks too, is let's don't name that stadium. That stadium doesn't belong to us. It belongs to all the students that attend this school. That's who it belongs to. It doesn't even belong to New Deal, Texas. It belongs to those students. So my suggestion is try to figure out a way to hold a contest, do something, and let the kids that run there and play there and compete there, let them decide what the name of their stadium needs to be. And I think that's very important. I also agree with Aaron in that whatever this board needs to do to regain the trust and credibility of yourself and the trust of this community, by all means, step up and do it.
That's right.
Do something to help gain everybody's trust again in the school itself and who governs the school. And really it's everything that this school deals with is none of you people, not me, not most of the public, but the students and all of the teachers that teach here.
That's right.
That's what this school is about.
The action items, approval of the minutes, prior meeting. Second. Made by Kevin, second by Eddie. Possible action on naming the football stadium, naming of the football stadium.
I had asked for that on the agenda. Because a request that I felt like was worthy for discussion. And so I asked for the action for tonight's agenda. I asked that the community allow and accept tabling this conversation to the next meeting. I'm not the guy looking to kick the can down the road, okay? It is a tedious subject in our community as a whole, because we have a lot of people that are in favor of it and a lot of people that are opposed to it, okay? And I think we all agree that there is some merit to what y'all are requesting. Okay? I also have mixed emotions about risking defaming a superintendent who's the longest standing superintendent in New Deal's history. And though that stadium has been known stadium for about the past 8 years, we never heard any concerns other than around that. At least I have not. Okay.
We didn't know he still didn't say we were.
What?
We're just gonna do our due diligence, so I need a motion
Yeah,
to
so I'm
table.
talking to the board here, okay? But I do feel like we should do further due diligence so that we can do the right things for the right reasons. Even when it may not be in, even when it's tough, it's what we do. So I would only ask that we could do some more work, okay, on this so that we can make the right decisions for the community, okay? It is, regardless of some of the challenges, I like the forum where we are getting community feedback. Okay. This is, in my 15 years, it's never been. Okay? And it is so welcoming to get those instruments.
So do we hear a motion to table this action item?
Before we
Yes,
do, before we make a motion, I want to say this too. Conversation wise, some of the ideas that we heard tonight were good, very good ideas.
Yes.
In respect to Mr. Nolan, in respect to the board, I do agree that we ought to do our due diligence and we do need to find out more about what's going on all the community, not just certain group. But at the same token, I heard some damn good ideas. I will support tabling it until the next meeting. Give us an opportunity to actually talk to everybody. And see what we can do to actually make a new motion to rename the stadium.
Well, you do the right things for the right reasons, that's all we're saying. So, I make the motion to table.
Motion
I'll second.
made by Mark, seconded by Kevin. Motion carries. Need to appoint the TASB Convention delegate and alternate delegate for the convention.
Convention is September 23rd to 25th, we just need to get our delegate registered.
Who were delegate last year?
I could do
Do you mind speaking up a little bit? I can't hear this far in the back, and there's another row. Do you mind?
Yes, we're appointing we have to appoint a delegate for the convention that we're going to attend in September, which is September 25th,
23rd to the 25th.
23rd to the 25th. Anybody want to do it? So do I hear a motion to make Kevin the delegate and Eddie the alternate?
I'll make the motion.
Make the motion, Mark.
I'll second.
Second. Curious for.
It's a shit show, and we have 4 board members.
Personnel, consider possible action to employ a high school principal.
I'd say I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our next New Deal High School, principal of New Deal High School, Mr. Romero Hernandez. Thanks for joining. Mr. Hernandez is a 2001 New Deal High School graduate. He's most recently been at Lubbock Cottage, assistant principal, 4 years there, and year at Brownfield High School before that. So we are very fortunate to get the quality of Mr. Hernandez to lead New Deal High School. Looking forward to working with Mr. Hernandez and his family.
Comparisons, working on those compensation plans, and seeing where we're at. The easiest place to, I've talked to TASB, they do a market-based study and different things. They're not able to get with us this year, but the gentleman was very helpful and is going to help me get kind of some things situated in a little different way than the way we've been doing it in the past. In order to take that first step to see where we can be with raises and increases, we've got to kind of find out where we're at. And in your packet, you've got a comparison here where we've got some comparisons of New Deal versus health center teacher salaries. The thing is, honestly, the way that New Deal has compensated their teachers is through the way of that stipend, or primarily. The teachers have still got a step increase, like the standard step increase, depending on where they are on the scale. But they've been given, I don't know, several years, I don't know, of course I wasn't here that time, so several years ago, I think it was a $3,000 stipend, retention stipend. If you came back, you were here you got $3,000. That changed to $5,000, and I know we've done that at least the 3 years that I've been involved in anything. So when you include that into the mix compared to what health centers doing, Abernathy's doing, and Shallowwater's doing, then we're compensating actually a little more than them. I'm not saying that makes it, that's the limit of where we need to be, but it does. We are being very competitive with the schools that are around us, especially when you include those things. If you look at Abernathy, they've got they're doing a $1,000 stipend right now. where they didn't do that before, but they're doing it now. We're still maintaining that $5,000 stipend, so you'll see that business there. And then, shallow water is, they haven't approved any stipends, and there's a lot of those that are based on, really, all of us are paying better than they were, out of all comparison. Something else that we look at, that when you compare everything, you've got to compare, insurance contributions. We contribute $225, shallow water does, health center contributes a little bit more, and Abernathy contributes a little bit more. And it affects the people who take the health insurance. So there's different ways to look at it. Is do you provide it more into the raise where it hits every person, benefits every person, or do you up the insurance contribution? There's different ways to look at it, but when we get to that point, we can figure out exactly where we land. Once we get those values and everything else, then all those things I'm going to bring to you in some different options to look at, and then try to decide what's the best for us.
I heard some comment. One, if you guys see a way of improving, our maintenance, okay, if there is an opportunity to improve matrix on how we're doing this as we're discussing, one question I would have we need to consider is, are we, this fall stipend, I know it's a retention bonus, should part of that be rolled back to a salary?
And that's
because I get to thinking, and if there's a way to get, because one of the big problems that we all have is that not everybody understood how all these stipends work, who got what for what reasons. It's sad that happened, but it happened, right? But the last thing we want to be is unfair to anyone. Okay? That is the very least. And so, if there's a way that you can simplify and improve on that, I think that would be great.
We're already working on it.
Okay.
And Terry that works with me, we got a shell document together to list all those stipends down, the amounts of those stipends, what they're for, so that you know who's supposed to have them. That as far as, and then as well as this, and then a pay scale for everybody else who does not follow the teacher's scale. That's something that we want to get organized so that it's put in a package where everybody can look at it and understand it. I think that's important. And it helps us too. It helps us because, prospective teachers, right now there's teachers, I've talked to different people and people are looking for teachers like crazy. I heard Logan needs 200 teachers or something the other day. So we need to, in my mind, get this kind of stuff out there. And when we are taking care of our people better than other places, and that's attractive, then I think people need to be able to see that and understand it. Or if they're looking at prospectively coming to people, here's what it is. I think you can attract people by doing that as well. This is what I'm saying.
I think, not to make it more difficult, but I think another good suggestion I heard was, higher levels of certification that they may come with, should earn them, better pay.
Correct. And we have that.
We do have.
We have.
In our stipend.
And I think, just so everybody knows as well, one of the things, and that's all these things that we're looking at, and it's not that they weren't looked at before, but with the, like I say, this being such a funny year with funding and how it's playing out, or how, you just gotta wait until we know. We got to increase substitute pay as well. There's a couple of things like that to address, and that's part of this as well. It would be part of that plan document that we publish out there. So where we can get it out there.
Are you also looking at, giving the option, looking into what it would take us if they want to do this for a certain period of time, as part of their salaries?
Well, and
what benefit out of this?
that's something I think, you know, especially, it may be, depending on where we're at this next year, you know, at some point going forward, we need to poll, and I think what we need to do is, I think there's teachers who like, there may be some teachers who like it that way, and some that don't, but it's gotta be all kind of treated the same. And so if we, I think if we talk to the staff and say, okay, well, what would your preference be? Let's figure out kind of what, you know, and even if that's somewhere in the middle, because in my mind, that's something we're not ever gonna take away. You know, we're never gonna take that away. So is it better to get that in those 2 shots, you know, like in, you know, not throughout the year would be better? Would they prefer to have it throughout the year, or getting it right before summer and right at the end of the semester? In the end, also, do we lose if we totally get away with it, then you're doing away with the retention part of it. I mean, that was the part, you know, sort of, that's part of the purpose too.
That's true.
So there's got to be a balance.
So how can you talk down at salary and it's also retention bonus?
Right.
Is it truly a retention bonus or is it a salary?
If it has to do, it's got to be one or the other, really. And so we've got to decide what that looks like. That may mean, you know, putting, it just depends on, like I say, what people prefer. How much do we put, you know, 70% of it in one and then maintain the retention bonus on the other end? I think that's just part of what we just need to discuss with our people and see what works best for them and what they like about the way it is now versus what it would be, or vice versa.
Second.
Made by Eddie, seconded by Kevin. Motion carries. Consideration of employee contracts and/or employment.
Board members, we've got a list of our new employees that we'd like to hire this evening. We have Megan Vermea, the elementary teacher. Jaden Corville, I don't say his name right, but he'll be assistant band director. Kristen Lopez, elementary teacher. Nikki Rowan is moving to an elementary teacher position. And Sarah Sainzine is going to be employed as a middle school teacher.
I hear a motion to accept their hiring. Motion made by Mark, seconded by Eddie. Hire the list of employees, Mr. Reader's. Acceptance of resignations and/or resignation agreements.
We've got a couple of resignations. Juan Chapa, our grounds guy, he resigned yesterday. He's got some personal situations he needs to deal with. Also, Jeff Quisenberry and Tony Quisenberry, we got their letter of resignation effective June 30th. And Madison Velasquez works in the cafeteria. She resigned as of May 19th. You got a list of those.
Do I hear a motion to accept the resignations of those that are listed?
I'll make it.
Second by Eddie, second by Mark. Motion carries 4-0.
And I do want to add, we are still looking for a couple teachers here at the high school. We need to support New Deal, promote New Deal, so we can get some good teachers at New Deal. All the districts around us are struggling to find teachers. It's hard to find teachers this year. Appreciate y'all's support and recruiting, getting good teachers.
Informational items.
We've got scheduled for the July, August, September board meetings. July and August are already been set. July 12th. And then we have to have 2 in August. Working on budget stuff. August 11th, August 25th, and then in September, I'd like to propose Monday, September the 12th. Jimmy Nolan,